Welcome to the Karen Reid trial, where today we're going to be looking at the cross-examination of Caitlin Albert, a very interesting witness, and possibly one of the witnesses that left with Tristan. If you don't know Tristan, this is Tristan, the Scarlet Pimpernel in his purple suit. And he is now married to Caitlin. And Caitlin, who will be listening to on the witness stand today, is the daughter of Brian Albert. And Brian Albert is the Boston cop whose front lawn John O'Keefe's body was found on. He was murdered. And he was a fellow Boston cop. So we have a Boston cop's house, the murder house, and John O'Keefe. Here's Brian Albert, the Boston cop whose front lawn John O'Keefe was found on. So we're going to be analysing her cross-examination, and we're going to be using statement analysis and forensic linguistics to do so. So we're going to be finding where Caitlin is deceptive, if she lies on the witness stand, and where and why and how. And we're going to see how much intelligence we can glean using forensic linguistic intelligence to establish where she is deceptive. In part one, which was the examination, we discovered various deceptions which we've run through. So if you haven't seen part one, do go and check that out. Various different impossibilities. But we'll be going into more detail today and carrying on the analysis as we find it. So without further ado, let's listen to what she has to say on the witness stand. It's Yennetti who is cross-examining, one of my favorites. The judge there, the beautiful Beverly Canoni. Keep a lookout for her linguistics and the judge's body language, and see if you can spot where she's biased. Okay, let's carry on.
Okay, Mr. Yennetti.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
So, Ms. Albert, you were at your parents' home on January 29th by midnight or shortly thereafter, correct?
Correct.
And you were the last one to leave at 1:45, 2 o'clock, somewhere in that area?
Yes.
On January 29th of 2022, after you got up that day, did you receive a call, a text, any sort of communication from any investigator connected with this case?
I did not.
Trooper Proctor did not contact you on January 29th?
No.
He did not interview you on January 29th?
He did not.
What about January 30th?
No.
31st?
No.
So Trooper Proctor, if you're new to the case, is the lead investigator. And he knows the people in the house, but has denied knowing the people in the house. And he uses semantics like, was it a close personal relationship, or did they just know each other for 20 years and go to the same weddings and barbecues? It's that sort of sneaky type of linguistics that we're seeing from the prosecution, the district attorney, and the lead investigator. So apparently Proctor didn't even go inside the murder house and do a proper investigation or interview all of the witnesses, some for years, because he didn't want to. Some of the witness testimonies would have been inconvenient and didn't fit the narrative of pinning it on the girl. By the way, Karen Reid, you can see next to Alan Jackson there on the desk, and her father is behind Yennetti. Let's carry on.
How about the entire month of February? Did you hear from Trooper Proctor wherein he set up a meeting or an interview with you?
There's the beautiful Beverly
I did
Canoni.
not.
Then what about the entire rest of 2022?
Objection,
Did
Your
Trooper
Honor.
Proctor interviewed you during that entire year?
All right, so the objection's overruled. You can answer that.
Okay. I was not interviewed, no.
No. And then in 2023, prior to May of 2023, were you contacted by Trooper Proctor or any investigator for an interview regarding what you just testified to here today?
I don't think so.
And you hadn't met Mr. Lally
I
by
don't
May of
think so.
2023 either, correct?
I don't think so.
But in May of 2023, you actually were called to testify at another hearing where neither the Commonwealth or the defense in this case was present, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Lally and Ms. McLaughlin were not there, and certainly no members of the defense team were there, correct?
Correct.
And May of 2023 was well over a year after the events that you were called to testify about, correct?
Correct.
Right? So if these events happened on January 28th and 29th of 2022, the end of January of 2023 would have been a year, and now you're being asked for the first time to give testimony about what happened back in January of 2022 in May of 2023, correct?
Yes.
And then it was only after you testified before that other proceeding without the prosecution and the defense of this case there that Trooper Proctor finally interviewed you in August of 2023, correct?
That's correct.
And that was 4 months after you testified in that other hearing of May of 2023, correct? June, July, I'm sorry, 3 months. June, July, August, correct?
Correct.
And it was about a year and a half after January 29th of 2022, correct?
I believe so.
All right. Now, on direct examination, Mr. Lally had asked you about whether you knew Brian Higgins. Do you remember that line of questioning?
I do.
And I believe you testified
The judge
that you
keeps
knew
hitting
of
her microphone.
Higgins, correct?
Yes.
She can't keep her
And
hands
you
still.
thought that you had met him a couple of times, correct?
Yes.
So Brian Higgins, you would classify as an acquaintance, correct?
To me,
Yes.
I would classify him as a friend of my father's, not really an acquaintance or friend of mine.
Okay. So he didn't rise to the level of an acquaintance, somebody who you met, but you didn't really know.
I'm not really sure how I would categorize my relationship with him. Again, it was just more of like, he was my father's friend. If I had seen him walking down the street, I would have said hello to him. I don't know anything about his personal life. I don't communicate with him regularly. So I mean, if that's what you would consider an acquaintance, then yes.
I guess I would ask, what do you consider an acquaintance? How would you define that term?
I would say an acquaintance is someone who you are friendly with and might see from time to time. I guess in my head, I'm just sort of thinking someone who's in closer in age with me. I usually think of it as more of like a friend type thing and not my father's friend to me. I guess that's just the way I think of it in my head.
Okay, so is your testimony before this jury that an acquaintance is really a friend?
Someone that you're friendly with, perhaps. Could be.
Okay. Have you watched any of the testimony in this case prior to your taking the stand today?
I have not.
Has anybody told you anything about any of the testimony that has occurred prior to your taking the stand today?
No.
Okay. Who is Katie McLaughlin?
Katie McLaughlin is a girl who I'm the same age as. We went to high school together. We graduated the same year, and we have a couple mutual friends.
So I don't know. I've not seen Katie McLaughlin, and I've not heard her statement. But apparently, she is an emergency worker, and Katie McLaughlin is the one who heard Karen Reed and I might be wrong, so correct me in the comments if I am, but apparently Katie heard Karen Reed say, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him." And this is the same testimony that we saw from McCabe, from Jen McCabe. So we have two witnesses saying that Karen Reed was heard saying that she hit John O'Keefe. And not only did she say she hit him, she repeated it 3 times. "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him," is the testimony that we've heard from McCabe. And apparently from this, I guess Yennetti is using the phrase acquaintance strategically. But let's see how it develops.
Interact with some of the same people socially. I don't really, I can't think of a time, possibly ever, where her and I ever hung out one-on-one or individually. So more of like a friend of a mutual friend.
Okay. So, Kate, you would not consider Katie McLaughlin to be a friend?
She's not a close personal friend of mine.
I asked you if she was a close personal friend.
Objection.
This letter.
Close personal. Have you noticed how some of the witnesses are using the same linguistics? She's not a close personal friend of mine. No, no, no. Just an acquaintance. I think that's a bit of a coincidence. Close personal has been used by the district attorney, that buffoon. What's his name again?
Finish your answer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your answer.
I would not consider her one of my, again, close friends.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to my question. Would you consider her to be a friend?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Albert, you know Courtney Proctor, correct?
I know of her, yes.
And you've been in her company several.
So these sidebars, where the beautiful Judge Beverly Cannoni has her Jameson and Ginger with the others, they're going to be released soon, aren't they? So we're looking forward to seeing what exactly has been said in the sidebars.
Times, correct?
Yes.
You've met her children, correct?
Once, yes.
And you know she is Michael Proctor's sister, correct?
Yes.
When Michael Proctor ultimately interviewed you in August of 2023, did he ever ask you how well you knew his sister, Courtney Proctor? Did that subject ever come up?
Not that I remember.
And did you ever mention it to him that you had met his sister and met his sister's kids?
I did not.
Now, on January 28th of 2022, you went to the waterfall with your boyfriend, Tristan Morris, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately, he left and you stayed, correct?
Yes.
The reason that you stayed is you wanted to go back to 34 Fairview, your old home, to be there by midnight when your brother was turning 23, correct?
Not necessarily. My plan was always to stay and just spend some time with my mom and my aunt. But Tristan left very early because he knew that he was going to have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning shoveling or plowing. So my plan was never to go back with him. But it wasn't necessarily because it was my brother's birthday. It was just what my plan was for the night.
Okay, so we hear very categorically, very clearly, her plan was to stay at mum and dad's, sleep over, and spend the day with her parents. Tristan, her boyfriend, left the waterfall early to grab some sleep because he was going to be ploughing and shoveling snow that night, most likely. I suspect he has a contract, or a company he works for has a contract with the local authority. to clear snow on nights where it's a blizzard, etc. The fact that she then changes the plan in the middle of the night, calling her boyfriend for rescue, for evacuation from the murder house, is highly unusual, and they can't explain it. They've never been able to explain it. They've never been able to explain during the evacuation why nobody was able to see the dead body of a 6'2", 222-pound Boston cop on the front lawn. They were all tying their shoelaces or looking through toilet roll tubes at the ground, and never looking out of the windows of their cars, never surveilling how beautiful all of the white snow looks on the lawn, or how much has fallen. Well, normal people would do, normal being the normal word. No. We have a change of plan. We have an emergency in the house. Let's carry on.
Certainly the fact that it was your brother's birthday didn't deter you from going back there, right? In other words, the fact that it was your brother's birthday didn't cause you to hesitate to go back. You wanted to be there, right?
Well, my brother Brian wasn't at the waterfall.
No, I'm talking about, let's start over. Tristan left, right?
Yes.
You stayed at the waterfall.
Yes.
And you planned to go back to 34 Fairview, did you not?
At some point in time, that was spoken about, and I agreed to go back to 34 Fairview, yes.
Okay. And you went back there to see your family, correct?
Yes.
Including your...
So that's passive language. At some point in time, it was spoken about. We always take note of passive language. Passive language essentially removes the actor. So the gun went off, or the chair moved. And so here it was spoken about, but the actors are removed. She's minimizing the fact that there was a definite plan to go back to 34 Fairview. She's caught up with where Yennetti's going, and so now she's minimizing slightly.
Brother Brian, whose birthday it was, correct?
Yes.
That was your parents' home, right?
Yes.
You grew up there.
Yes.
You were comfortable there.
Yes.
There was plenty of room at the house, correct?
In what sense?
A bunch of bedrooms.
Yes.
Not all of them were taken up, correct?
At that time, correct.
You certainly felt welcome there, correct?
Yes.
And there was no problem with you staying there overnight, correct?
Correct.
And when you made the decision to go there after the waterfall, you knew that there was a snowstorm that was starting, correct?
Yes.
And you've already testified that when you went back to 34 Fairview, you saw your cousin Colin Albert inside the home, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you walked in and he was one of the first people that you saw, correct?
Correct.
He's been over your house many times, correct?
Correct.
You're close with him as your first cousin, are you not?
I am.
And your brother Brian Jr. is close with him as well, correct?
Yes.
Colin Albert is close with your parents, correct?
Yes.
He's certainly welcome at your parents' home, correct?
Correct.
And it was certainly not shocking to see your first cousin, Colin Albert, at your home, correct?
Correct.
And you had a brief interaction with him, correct?
Yes.
That was sort of toward the foyer of the house?
Yes.
And then you continued deeper into your parents' home and you saw other people there, correct?
Yes.
Where did you go within the home after you had seen Colin?
I believe I entered through the foyer into the dining room area.
All right. And when you were there?
So we would notice that her hedging language continues with the I believes, and we would put in a deceptive flag, noting that single flags don't mean anything per se, but we notice the hedging, so in goes the flag.
You saw your brother Brian, whose birthday it was, correct?
Yes.
He had two friends with him, Julie Nagel and Sarah Levinson, in that same area.
Yes.
You greeted them as well.
Yes.
And that's where your attention was focused, fair to say?
I would say that once I said hello to them, I didn't just sit with them three. I sort of was walking around. I wouldn't say my attention was solely focused on them three, but I did greet them, yes.
And where you were walking around within the kitchen dining room area?
Yes.
And once you greeted Colin and left him, it's fair to say that you then were not looking over your shoulder monitoring what Colin was doing or where he was going, correct?
Correct.
And while you were in the kitchen dining room area, the door to the basement was kind of blocked from your view, was it not?
If I'm in the dining room area, there is a spot in there where I could see it, but I don't believe I could see the basement door, no.
Right. And from your
Okay, so did you notice she changed tenses there? So she took herself out from memory recall to potential memory construction, and we saw the tense change. So rather than trying to remember if she saw Colin go down to the basement, she didn't try and remember that. She imagined herself in the room and then imagined herself, would she be able to see? Do you see the difference? So we try to get linguistic empathy. We try to understand what's going on in the subject's mind by achieving this linguistic empathy. And its tense changes are very important to us. So we learn to recognize the tense change. And as we get better at this, we learn to recognize the tense change at conversational speed, so that you're able to judge face to face, perhaps if you're interviewing somebody. And an interview doesn't need to be, a criminal interview at the police station or a job interview in the, for recruitment. An interview can just be meeting somebody or a date even. So learning to be able to tell if the person's being deceptive at conversational speed is the skill that we're learning on the VEROSCOPE channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you're considering learning statement analysis and forensic linguistic intelligence at a higher level, then do watch 10 or 12, watch a dozen or so VEROSCOPEs. And then if it's really of interest and you decide, actually, this is something that I want to learn, then consider joining the channel, the YouTube channel, the VEROSCOPE YouTube channel. And if so, I'll see you inside there. Otherwise, let's carry on.
vantage point, the door to the basement's kind of blocked from the area that you were in.
For the most part, yes.
And you weren't watching Colin to see where he went after you left him, correct?
Correct.
And you never saw him leave the house physically, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Albert, I'd like to go back to a discussion of
Oh, she's changed clothes.
Katie McLaughlin.
Okay.
Must be the next day.
Yesterday, I asked you a 4-word question, and that question was, who is Katie McLaughlin? Do you recall that question?
I do.
You would agree with me that your response was not, she's a firefighter.
Correct.
Your response was not, she's a friend.
Correct.
Your response was not, I've known her for years.
Well, I sort of alluded to that when I said that I've known her since high school.
Right. Your response was that she was somebody that you knew in high school.
I sort of alluded to that. Isn't that an interesting turn of phrase? Because Yennetti's trying to prove that the firefighter is essentially another family friend, willing to go along with the ruse of I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. This is what Yennetti is trying to establish. So this is an important part. How deceptive is she going to be? And how does she choose which clothes to wear at the next day? I noticed that the cross Is that Jen McCabe's cross? But either way, I noticed that she's still got that on.
School, correct?
I said that I went to high school with her, and she's my same age. We graduated the same year.
Right,
Yes.
so you referenced high school, correct?
Yes.
All right. You would agree with me that you've seen her several times since high school, correct?
Yes.
You have hung out in the same group with her several times since high school, correct?
Yes.
And you graduated high school in 2014?
Yes.
It is now 2024?
Yes.
Your contact with Katie McLaughlin has been fairly consistent over the years in that it continued at least until 2021, correct?
I would agree with that, although it was far and few between. But
Is that
throughout the
because-
years, yes.
Do you
Far
say
and few
that
between.
because the photographs are far and few between?
Objection.
Sustained.
All right. You would agree with me that there was not a
Not few and far,
3-year
far and few.
period prior to January 29th of 2022 where you didn't see Katie McLaughlin at all, correct?
A 3-year period?
Right.
I can't say 100% yes to that, but I wouldn't be surprised if I had seen her at some point in time over the past couple of years and before John O'Keefe's passing. Yeah,
Seeing her a couple of times, does that mean that maybe you bumped into her and said hello?
it would mean that we would be in the same place at the same time, not something that I reached out and invited her to in any way, shape, or form. But, you know, again, we have mutual friends, so I would not be surprised if I went somewhere and she happened to be there as well.
Okay. And it would have been a surprise to you that she showed up at whatever place you were at in those 3 years? Is that your testimony?
No, it would not have been a surprise to
You
me.
would have known in advance that Katie McLaughlin was going to be at the same place that you were in advance.
Not necessarily, but
Ever in those 3 years?
Objection.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that only 8 months before January 29th of 2022, you and Katie McLaughlin were at a baby shower together?
Objection.
Do you know that?
yes,
Go ahead and answer.
yes, we did.
You were.
Yes,
Whose
we
baby
did.
shower was it?
It was a mutual friend of ours.
What's her name?
Her name's Alyssa.
And how many people were at that baby shower?
I can't say for sure. I mean, it was Alyssa's family
All right.
and a bunch of friends. I can't put a number on it.
The friends all
Bunch
gathered
of
together
friends.
and took a photo together with the woman having the baby shower, correct?
Objection.
Was there a photo taken?
I believe so.
You were in that photo, correct?
Yes.
Who was standing next to you?
Oh dear.
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, if you saw the photo, would that refresh your memory?
So is she says, I don't have it in front of me. So this is sensitive. Who thinks that she knows who she's standing next to at the baby shower photo? The minimization of being friends and knowing this emergency worker since school is because they want to minimize the fact that the emergency worker might have been influenced, perhaps by Jen McCabe, perhaps by others, but she is close to. This is another example of people being close to the family in the murder house. Let's carry on.
Yeah.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you what has been marked.
Just show her.
Sorry, I was just going to identify it as S for identification for the record, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm showing you what's been marked S. Could you take a look at that and look up at me when you're done? May I approach?
Yes.
Having reviewed that photograph, Ms. Albert, who is standing next to you?
One of my friends is on the left of me, and Katie McLaughlin is on the right of me.
Okay. She's right next to you in that photo, correct?
Yes, she is.
That was in June of 2021, correct?
Yes.
So if somebody testified that you hadn't seen each other in 3 years prior to January 29th of 2022, that would be wrong, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Not allowed to know that.
And with regard to the contact that you've had with her in terms of
It's also a
group
fair objection.
events, you would agree with me that it wasn't just day trips that you took with her, correct?
Correct.
You've also gone on road trips with her,
Oh
correct?
dear.
I've gone away on trips that she was with. I didn't drive with her or go with her or invite her, but she has been there, yeah.
Okay.
So there we had
and what road
cognitive
trips have you
overload.
taken overnight where you and Katie McLaughlin have been together since high school?
Objection.
Sustained.
You've gone to Maine with Katie McLaughlin, have you not?
Oh
Objection.
dear.
So we need a time frame, Mr. Yannetti, not just
Sure.
10 years ago.
Since high school, you've gone to Maine with Katie McLaughlin, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it. Did you go to Maine with her?
I did, and the year would have been like 2015 or 2016.
Did you go
If I
to Maine with
suggested it
her?
was July
Said the
of
judge.
2016, would that make sense?
That would sound about right, yeah.
While you were in Maine, there were 7 of you in a hot tub together, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were in a hot tub with Katie McLaughlin in Maine, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I think it's pretty obvious that she was in a hot tub
You'd
with
mentioned
Katie
that you'd
McLaughlin.
been to Maine with Katie McLaughlin in 2016. Where was it in Maine?
In the hot tub.
I'm not sure the exact town.
Right. Probably 4 hours away?
I'm not sure how long it took to get up there.
It wasn't 10 minutes away.
No.
Right? And it wasn't a half hour.
No,
All right. It was more than 2 hours, correct?
maybe.
And you drove, correct?
Yes.
How many days did you spend in Maine?
I'm not sure, maybe 2.
All right. So you were up in Maine over a weekend
Yep.
with Katie
Yep.
McLaughlin, correct?
Yes, as well as a bunch of other friends.
Oh, of
bunch.
course. But the answer to my question is you were with Katie McLaughlin, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
How many times have the two of you been to the beach together since high school?
Objection.
Do you know? If you can answer that, go ahead and answer.
I know that we have been to a beach together, but I don't know how many times. I could guess.
Don't guess.
Okay.
Next question, Mr.
You
Yannetti.
said
Wow.
a beach. Does that mean that the two
Don't guess. Next question, Mr. Yennetti. The beautiful Judge Canoni on form today.
of you only go to one particular beach?
No,
You've gone to multiple beaches with Katie McLaughlin, correct?
not that I can remember. I can't remember how many times. I have one memory, but I can't say for sure how many times I've been to a beach with Katie McLaughlin.
Okay. If I showed you a photograph of the two of you on a beach together in bikinis, would that refresh your memory?
Objection.
Mr. Yannetti, you can show her a photograph.
Thank you. If I may approach.
Yes.
Well, there you are in
Again,
your
I'm showing
bikinis.
S for identification, one particular photo in S. If you take a look at that and look up at me when you're done, does that refresh your memory?
Yep.
Yep.
That particular photo that I showed you from S for identification, what beach was that?
I don't know the name of the beach.
Where was it?
I believe somewhere in the Cape.
And Katie McLaughlin is in that photo, correct?
Yes, along with a bunch of other friends.
Bunch.
Of course, there are other friends.
Has
but
to be other
you-
Miss,
other
Mr.
friends.
Yannetti, please
A whole
no more,
bunch
of course.
Of course, Your Honor. With regard to
Even
that
the beautiful
photo,
judge found that
once
funny.
again, you are right next to Katie McLaughlin. Were you not? Right in back of her?
She's in front of me, yes, and the mutual friends that I already said that we have are also in the photo.
Of course. And let me ask you this. Has anybody in
So,
this,
jurors, I'm going to strike that, of course.
has anybody in this courtroom today asked you about the other mutual friends who were there? Did I ask you today whether there were other mutual friends in that photo?
Objection.
Sustained.
You added that to your answer,
Sensitivity.
correct?
Objection.
Can you answer that?
Yes.
Who are your college roommates?
Objection.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Who were your college roommates?
Oh, yeah, it's sustained.
How many college roommates did you have?
Objection.
Sustained.
Fair to say that Katie McLaughlin has been with you and your college roommates.
Yes.
When was that?
2015, 2016?
And there were 2 college roommates that you and Katie McLaughlin were with, correct?
I had multiple college roommates at that time, and 2 of them were the mutual friend that Katie and I share.
And in fact, there was an occasion where you were in a kitchen with your 2 college roommates and 1 other person, correct?
Objection.
Need a time frame or something, Mr. Yannetti?
Or that was around 2016, was it not?
That sounds about right, yes.
All right. And do you recall which college roommates they were?
Objection.
Sustained.
And someone took a photo of you, your 2 college roommates, and 1 other person,
She's not
correct?
happy, is she?
Objection.
With the
Sustained.
firefighter
In
being
2016.
shown that she's a mate.
Objection.
Sustained.
So proving, look, that she's upset that they're proving that really the firefighter isn't just some acquaintance, but they're friends. Is part of a bunch of friends. Now, does proving that they're good friends and have known each other since school, does proving that mean that the firefighter is willing to go along with claiming that she heard, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him? No, doesn't prove it, does it? But what is interesting is the sensitivity and the attempt at denying that they're friends. That's the more interesting aspect of this. Let's carry on.
May we approach?
She's not at all happy.
Okay.
So the truth is coming out.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you another photo from S for identification, ma'am. If you look at that and look up at me when you're done.
Look at that look.
Who's in that photo?
Myself, 2 of my college roommates, and Katie McLaughlin.
Okay. So Katie McLaughlin's the only one in that photo who's not one of your roommates, correct?
Yes.
And was this a situation where she just showed up unexpectedly like all the other times? You had no idea she was going to be there?
Objection.
Ask the question differently. That it's sustained in that form.
Thank you, Ronna. Did you expect, well, by the way, whose kitchen is that?
It was the college house that I lived in.
So your kitchen.
The house we were renting, yes.
You lived in that kitchen.
Yes.
And Katie McLaughlin's in your kitchen, correct?
Yes.
Who invited Katie that day?
The 2 mutual friends that I lived with.
Okay. Certainly you didn't invite Katie, correct?
I did not.
Because you're not close friends with her at all, correct?
I am not.
In fact, you don't really like her very much, do you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
You guys were teammates on the track lacrosse country team back in high school, correct?
Oh dear.
I don't recall that, actually. We could have been. I'm not sure.
If I may approach?
Yes.
Once again,
Interesting that she used the word actually, the comparison word. We always note that and look for why is the comparison happening.
place S for identification before you, ma'am. If you look at the first page and then the second page. If I may approach?
Yes.
This reminds me, thank you to the trial channel for all of the editing. They really are doing a wonderful job to edit out all of the delays and sidebar delays, etc. So do subscribe to the trial channel if you get a chance, and say hi from VEROSCOPE in the comments if you get a chance to.
Having reviewed those 2 pages, does that refresh your memory about your teammate, Katie McLaughlin?
Yes, it does.
And you certainly were teammates in high school, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree with me that that relationship continued in terms of your contact with her all the way up through 2021, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer the photos that are in S for identification as full exhibits in this trial at this point.
Objection.
The objection sustained.
Now, you testified that you knew Brian Higgins prior to January 29th of 2022, correct?
He's definitely
Yes.
not a close personal
You knew him
friend.
as a good friend of your father's, correct?
Yes.
He arrived at 34 Fairview Road, your parents' home, on January 29th of 2022 after you got there, correct?
Again, yes, because me and my parents were the first ones inside from what I remember.
Did you see what Brian Higgins drove to get there?
I did not.
You did not see where he parked his vehicle.
I did not.
At some point you saw him inside the home, correct?
Yes.
And he made it into the kitchen and dining room area where you were, correct?
Yes.
You agree that at some point Brian Higgins and your father, Brian Albert, left that area to go to another room, correct?
Yes.
So it's fair to say there was at least some portion of the night when Brian Higgins and your father were out of your field of vision, correct?
I don't agree with that because the room that I had seen them go into has an open doorway and you can see right into the family room that they were in. So I could actually see them in there.
Gotcha. How long?
Okay, did you notice the cognitive load there and the stuttering? So for her, unusually, it's important to establish that she didn't entirely lose sight of the two men who went off together to look at photographs. And yet she can't claim either. Interesting, isn't it? So she's very sensitive to her father and Higgins going off somewhere, holding hands to look at photographs. Very sensitive indeed, because if they have disappeared, what were they doing?
Were you there when Brian Higgins and your father, Brian Albert, were there?
Inside the family room?
I'm talking from that whole night. When you were at 34 Fairview, how much time lapsed between the time you first saw Brian Higgins and Brian Higgins left the residence?
I can't say for sure. If I had to estimate, I'd say an hour and a half.
Okay. And so your testimony before this jury is for that full hour and a half, there was no time when Brian Higgins and your father, Brian Albert, were out of your field of vision.
Not that I can remember.
Now, earlier that evening on Friday, January 28th.
Not that I can remember. So she is going to have us believe, for some strange reason, she's at a party. She's not paying particular attention to individuals. She's walking around the kitchen area. And she cannot remember if she had complete visual contact with Higgins and her father for the entire party. That is suspicious because it's unnecessary to claim that. It's almost impossible that you would be at a party and have constant visual contact with Higgins and your father. She isn't able to say it, so we can't say it for her, but she uses the excuse that a certain room has a door open and so possibly you could see people through it if they were there. That's the reasoning. Because if they... And why is she so sensitive to Higgins and her father being separated from the group? Well, we know, don't we? We know why they're all sensitive about that. Because something happened in the murder house that they don't want us to know about.
You made plans to go out with your mom, Nicole Albert, your aunt, Julie Albert, and your boyfriend, Tristan Morris, correct?
Yes.
From the beginning of that night the plan was for Tristan to go home early, correct?
Yes.
And that was because he had to get up early to plow or shovel, correct?
Yes.
He had to get up really early, correct?
Yes.
The plan was for him to shovel or plow at 3 a.m.?
He was, from what I recall, he was on standby for like 3. It could have been any time after that.
Oh, I see. So it could have been that he had to get up at 3 or maybe a little bit later, correct?
Yes.
And it was for that reason that when he was at the waterfall with you, he only had a couple of drinks, correct?
From what I remember, yes.
And from the beginning of the night, you knew that it was going to be iffy as to whether he would be able to get much sleep at all, correct?
It wasn't really something we discussed.
Well, the reason he was going home early and only having a couple of drinks was to see if he could catch some sleep before what would be a very difficult work morning, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that in order for him to get any sleep, he couldn't stay at the waterfall very long, correct?
Yes.
And that's why he left early.
Yes, he went home to rest. We didn't speak about whether or not he would be sleeping.
It wouldn't shock you if he tried to go to sleep.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
You stayed believing that Tristan was going to try and rest and sleep, correct?
Yes.
And the plan when he left you was that you wouldn't see him again until after he was done with his plowing that morning, correct?
That's incorrect.
Oh.
So is it your testimony that the plan from the beginning was that Tristan was going to drive from Canton to Easton and get some rest, and then drive from Easton to Canton to pick you up so that he could take you back from Canton to Easton? That was the plan?
It may not have been set in stone, but it was definitely spoken about, and then that's what ended up happening. Yes.
So here we have a complete change. The plan was, and from her own words, that she was going to stay overnight at Mum and Dad's. Now she says, well, that might not necessarily be the plan, and it was sort of spoken about, and he might not have gone to sleep to get some sleep. And so we're now seeing the words change. Perhaps overnight she's been spoken to.
Have you ever told anyone that before, Ms. Albert, that the plan from the start of the night was that Tristan was going to make 4 trips total from Canton to Easton, Easton to Canton, Canton to Easton? Have you ever told anyone that before?
I don't remember if I mentioned that to anybody.
That was the first time you've ever said that, just now before.
I don't remember if I've ever mentioned that to anybody. So that's minimization, there's hedging. It's the most ridiculous plan I've ever heard of. So I'm going to sleep at my parents'. You go home early to sleep, but I'm going to call you at, in the middle of the night for you to come and pick me up. Absolutely ridiculous. They're expecting us to believe this.
This jury, would you agree with that?
Now, if they'd come up with a reasonable excuse, like, I don't know, something as to the reason why the plan had to change, then fair enough. But they don't. They just expect us to accept that the murder occurs at the house and suddenly the house needs evacuating by everybody, and she's picked up by her boyfriend in the middle of the night and driven away, most likely with Chloe the dog. And there's no explanation. There's nothing that they present to us as to the reason. Yet we know a dead cop is dragged out onto the lawn at some point from that house. Let's carry on.
I believe so.
Almost 2.5 years after January 29th, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it true that you decided at 1:45 in the morning?
And let's not forget, this deception, the ultimate result is to put Karen Reed who is innocent of the charge of murder away for life. This is the type of people that we're dealing with here. They are prepared to send her away for life, and they're doing it as a team. So bear that in mind. She might look innocent with that cross around her neck, but let's bear in mind what she's doing. She's attempting to send Karen Reed to jail, to prison rather, for life. Let's bear that in mind. There's no halo around this girl.
That it was important for you to get home.
At 1:45, around that time, is when Tristan picked me up, a little bit after that, but I didn't want to get snowed in at my parents' house.
It was important for you to leave 34 Fairview, correct?
I wouldn't say important, but it was something that I wanted to do,
It was
yes.
important enough for you to leave, correct?
Yes,
And you made the decision to have Tristan drive from Easton to Canton to pick you up, correct?
yes.
How far is it from Easton to Canton?
From our apartment in Easton to 34 Fairview Road is about 18, 19 minutes.
Okay, and that's when there's not a snowstorm outside, correct?
Correct.
Of course, in a major snowstorm, you certainly can't drive as carefree as you can when you're driving in
You have to
good
drive
road
at 10 to
conditions,
2 in
correct?
Right.
those conditions.
And your boyfriend was making that trip multiple times that night, correct?
Yes.
When Tristan picked you up at 1:45 a.m., did you bring Chloe out of the house with you to take to your apartment?
No.
Okay. On January 29th of 2022, you were there at your parents' house from around midnight until...
So what do you think of that answer? No. It was a singular word. What did you think? There was no denial, was there? There was no, what are you talking about? We didn't take Chloe out of the house. No. There was just a single no. Interesting, isn't it? And have you noticed how her facial expression has changed? From the happy-go-lucky, we're all in it together, we're the police, the judge is on my side, the DA and the prosecutor and the police, we're all together, we are the... And now look at her face, because the truth is coming out. It's changed, hasn't it? Changed dramatically. Let's see what other deceptions she has to say.
About 1:45?
About a little bit after 1:45, yes.
Okay, and during that span of time, almost 2 hours, you never saw anyone pull up outside, correct?
I personally did not.
No. And you personally did not look out the window either, correct?
No, I did not.
And you personally never heard anything out of the ordinary outside, correct?
That is correct.
Right. You never heard any yelling, correct?
That is correct.
No screaming,
Correct.
nothing smashing into anything else,
Correct.
no revving of tires,
Correct.
no noises outside,
Correct.
nothing attracted your attention.
Correct.
You never saw any vehicle backup lights.
Correct.
You never saw any red lights outside.
Correct.
You heard zero evidence of anything that would lead you to conclude that there had been some type of car accident outside.
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently, Mr. Yannetti.
You didn't hear a car accident.
Objection.
Ask it differently.
When you left 34 Fairview at 1:45, which door did you use?
I think I walked out the front door.
And the front door, could I have Exhibit 66, Mr. Bates? With the court's permission, may that be
Sure.
displayed? Do you recognize Exhibit 66 as being a depiction of your house?
Yes.
The front door to your home, there are actually two of them, correct?
Yes.
But when you say the front door, you're referring to the door that's lit up in that photo?
Yes.
You can take that off the screen. I'd like to ask you some questions about what you saw or didn't see within the first couple of seconds while you were stepping outside. Coming out the front door of your house, you would agree with me that your parents' front lawn is directly in front of you, correct?
Yes.
By that time, snow had started to accumulate at 1:45 a.m., correct?
Yes.
Against that white snow, did you see a black baseball cap?
I did not.
As you stepped out of the house, did you see a black sneaker?
I did not.
Did you see 45 pieces of red taillight plastic?
I did not.
No. Did you see one piece of red taillight plastic?
I did not.
Did you see a 6'2" man on your parents' front lawn in front of you?
Objection.
Did you? I did not.
You saw nothing unusual on that front lawn of your parents' home, did you?
I did not.
Now, Tristan had parked in the driveway, correct?
I believe so.
When I say Tristan, I'm referring to Tristan Morris, who was your boyfriend, right?
Yes.
As you face the house, that driveway is to the right, correct?
Yes.
And as you're coming out of the house, the driveway is to the left, which makes sense, right?
Yes.
Where in the driveway was Tristan Morris parked?
I don't remember if he was on the left.
So they all have to evacuate the house, and they all have to say that they didn't see 45 pieces of red taillights scattered on the lawn in the snow. They didn't see a dead cop on the lawn, etc. They all have to go out of the house in the middle of the night, all changing plans one by one, rearranging lifts, and none of them seeing the dead cop on the front lawn. Because if any of them, well, first of all, there wasn't a dead cop on the front lawn, but if any of them go out of narrative and say, yes, there was, then the whole thing falls apart, because at that point you need to call the emergency services rather than Googling how long does it take to die in the snow. So the house evacuation has to occur, the dog has to be removed, and then all the witnesses have to say that they didn't see a dead cop on the lawn, but one that miraculously appears in the morning. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's carry on.
I guess would be the left side of the driveway, because that would have been closest to me walking out of the house, but I can't say for sure exactly where he was parked in the driveway.
Okay. In any case, you walked to his vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And actually, when I say his vehicle, it was actually your vehicle, right?
Correct.
That was the Jeep that you had at that time?
Yes.
And as you were walking to that vehicle, you would agree with me there were no obstructions between you and your parents' front lawn, correct?
Correct.
And as you were walking to that vehicle, again, no baseball hat, no sneaker, no pieces of red taillight, and no 6'2" man did you see on your parents' front lawn, correct?
Correct.
And there were no, strike that. After you got into the vehicle, you got into the passenger's side?
Yes.
Because you had been drinking that night, correct?
Yes.
And it wouldn't have made sense for you to drive home to Easton, correct?
Correct.
So Tristan Morris backed your Jeep out of the driveway, correct?
Yes.
And the tail end of that Jeep, when he backed out, would have gone toward Cedar Crest, correct?
Correct.
Which would mean that the car was now facing toward the Chapman Street side, correct?
Yes.
And that would mean that your Jeep, being driven by Tristan, would have driven directly by your parents' full property line, correct?
Correct.
And you were on the passenger's side of the car, correct?
Correct.
The passenger's side was closest to your parents' front lawn as you were driving away, correct?
Yes.
And you drove past the front lawn, correct?
Yes.
You drove past the flagpole, correct?
Yes.
And in all that time from when Tristan Morris pulled out of the driveway and drove right by your parents' front lawn, you never saw anything of the things that I previously asked you about, correct?
I did not, but I also was not looking.
You saw no baseball hat, no sneaker, no pieces of red plastic, and no 6'2".
I was not looking Isn't that interesting? Let's analyze that a little bit more deeply. I was not looking, is what she tells us. What an unusual thing to say. I was not looking. If somebody says, I was not looking, then at a certain level within the unconscious, they've accepted that there's something to see. I was not looking. It's interesting. I was not. So she expects us to believe that on a cold winter's night, where the house needs evacuation, where the boyfriend needs calling in the middle of the night, but he went home early to get some sleep, and I'm now going to wake him up, tell him I've changed my mind, I no longer want to sleep at mum and dad's, and you have to come and collect me and the dog. And then expects us to believe that she wasn't looking, and so that's the reason why she couldn't see the scene of an accident and a dead cop on the lawn. It's not credible. And that's why we're seeing the deception. She knows it's not credible. We know it's not credible. The judge knows it's not credible. But they're all willing to send a woman, Karen, to jail for the rest of her life to protect the family. It's not going to work. The FBI have been involved in this since the beginning, and they haven't gone away, and they never will, because justice for a Boston police officer who's been murdered takes the priority. You'll see on the VEROSCOPE YouTube channel, there's a VEROSCOPE of a detective called Lazarus, and Lazarus was also a murderer. She was a police detective who killed her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, shot her. And she got away with it for over 2 decades. But in a cold case, and if you look at the VEROSCOPE analysis of her interview, you'll see all the deception. A cold case was launched, and she was eventually arrested and charged and convicted. She might be up for parole shortly, Lazarus. We'll see. But the point is this: the FBI are not going away. They do have federal laws to call upon should they wish. I understand that they could call upon the RICO laws, which if they can prove a criminal conspiracy, then everybody involved in that criminal conspiracy gets a minimum of 20 years. And that will include everybody. So at some point in time, those who are lying to protect others will need to consider which camp they're in. Are they in the FBI's lifeboat, or are they going down with the ship for 20 years? Because the ship is already underwater. Let's carry on.
Man, correct?
Correct, but I also was not looking out my window.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did anybody in this courtroom ask you if you were looking out your window?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That was an answer to a question that nobody asked you, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Now, at this point, you would agree with me that you've essentially circled your parents' front lawn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you came out the front door and were facing the front lawn, correct?
Correct.
Then you're walking to the left, which means that the front lawn is to your right, correct?
Correct.
Then you're backing up out of the driveway, which means the front lawn is still to your left, correct?
Correct.
And when Tristan pulls the car such that
They've come to get them.
when Tristan Morris pulls the car such that the car is now operating parallel to your front lawn, now the front lawn's to your right, correct?
Correct.
And with regard to all of that time that you were circling that front lawn,
That's
never
Mrs.
saw
O'Keefe
anybody or
next to the
anything
bearded
out of
man.
the ordinary on that lawn, correct?
I did not.
And you also didn't see any tire tracks in the snow, did you?
Not that I can remember.
Let me have a moment.
Yes.
The poor lady, the lady to the left of the man with the beard in the white shirt, that is the mother of John O'Keefe. Jen McCabe has been conducting an exercise with the poor mother of John O'Keefe, and we'll go into this in detail on another Veroscope, but Jen McCabe has been deliberately conducting an intelligence exercise with Mrs. O'Keefe and has essentially hoodwinked her. But we're going to analyze that whole relationship on another Veroscope and expose Jen McCabe for the actions that she has done. Okay, let's carry on.
No further questions, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lally?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Now, turning your attention back to yesterday, you were asking questions about Courtney Proctor, is that right?
Yes.
And you were asked about whether or not you met her kids, and you said once. Can you explain that?
From what I can remember, I forget exactly where I was, but my aunt Julie Albert had pulled up in her car, and I was talking to her, and she had the 2 kids in her back seat. I think she may have been babysitting them. I didn't ask for specifics, but she rolled down the back window, and that's when I met the 2 kids, and that was it.
Okay, but how many years ago was that?
Okay, let's go on with the analysis. So, impossibility 3. Oh, let's quickly recap for those who have missed part 1. We can quickly recap. So, Yennetti talks about the circling the house. So she comes out of the door. She's walking to the car. She's backing out and she's driving away. And at no point does she see John O'Keefe on the lawn. And she claims that her vision is essentially looking down at her feet because she doesn't want to slip, etc. Rather than looking out at the beautiful front lawn covered now in some snow, seeing how much of the snow has fallen, instead we get the excuses. And the excuse is that she was paying more attention to the boyfriend rather than looking out of the car window. But Yennetti says you've circled effectively many times. Also, the snow around a body it wouldn't have covered the body per se. It would have created a scene. If you imagine a hot man before he's cooled down, and the snow fall around him, not falling, not covering, but rather creating streaks and. If he was still alive, there would be a mess, wouldn't there? That all the snow would be plowed up, there'd be blood, all sorts. But she doesn't see anything. I imagine what she sees is a pristine, beautiful view. Then the plan that appeared. She says, it may not have been set in stone, but it was definitely spoken about. Caitlin Albert. So the plan is never mentioned in 22. The plan is never mentioned in 23. Proctor eventually speaks to her and the plan is never mentioned. Then on the trial direct examination, the plan is not mentioned. This creates a logical problem because unless there's a reason you need to evacuate the house in an emergency and call your boyfriend to turn up in the middle of the night whilst he's meant to be sleeping to plough and shovel the next day, you still haven't mentioned it. And so then for the very first time on redirect, she says, it may not have been set in stone, but it was definitely spoken about. The fact that she could suddenly change her mind, no longer sleep at her mum and dad's, but get her boyfriend to pick her up. It's not credible. It is deception, and it is for a reason to hide the fact that the murder house, had to be evacuated. So, the hedge may not have been set in stone. The strengthener definitely spoken about, but not mentioned for years. Plans don't appear after 28 months. Plans appear when problems do. The hedge and the strength of the pattern is characteristic of construction, not memory recall. And then we have the friend erasure. Katie McGoughlin, excuse the spelling mistake in the transcript, is a distant acquaintance. She's a friend of a mutual friend. She's not close. It's not a close personal relationship, according to Morrissey's way of describing close personal relationships. In fact, it's a girl who I'm the same age as. We went to high school together. I can't think of a time possibly ever where her and I ever hung out one-on-one or individually. More like a friend of a mutual friend type of response, isn't it? And yet we have the fact that they're track teammates. They've been on a trip to Maine together and enjoyed the hot tub, most of which has all been not allowed by the beautiful Judge Canoni. Multiple photographs on the beach together. Then they're in the same bloody kitchen together, which he tries to minimize. Then they're at the baby shower and the photographer, they're standing next to each other. But she, for some reason, wants to minimize the fact that they know each other because, and we'll analyze this Katie McGoughlin person, and we'll see what she has to say. We'll see if she's deceptive. I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, apparently is what she heard Karen Reed say. So the baby shower photo is very sensitive. One of my friends, she says. Yeah, so the friend erasure was an important point. The revelations, the four circles, not looking once is possibly innocent, not looking twice is highly improbable, not looking 3 times approaches impossibility, and not looking 4 times is impossibility. On this evening, she walked past the front lawn, then she circled it, then she backed past it, then she drove alongside it. 4 opportunities, each many seconds long, and she is refusing to see a dead cop on the lawn, because if she did, she would then have to call the emergency services. But instead, we have McCabe Googling, how long does it take to die in the snow? All the witnesses tying their shoelaces as they exit the house, so none of them see the dead cop, because he's not there. He's still inside the property somewhere, etc. The plan that appeared, plans don't appear after 28 months. The plan only appeared because it didn't fit the narrative, because it proves the house evacuation. And we're still not given a credible reason why Tristan has to suddenly turn up, hopefully not in his purple suit that night, to pick up his girlfriend and Chloe. And then the friend erasure, the pattern convergence, all the impossibilities together, the final assessment, highly improbable that the testimony represents complete, accurate account and witness knowledge of the observations. So if you agree, do say so in the comments. And I think we're going to be doing McCabe next. So if you haven't yet subscribed and hit the notification bell, if you do, as soon as the next McCabe video is out, you'll get notified. And if you have case information, detail which we're not finding in the linguistics, do put that in the comments as well, because some of you I know have been following the case for years, and your case knowledge really does help bring together the linguistic evidence. I think as a team we're doing really well. Okay, so chat to you in the comments. Look forward to it.